Sensory Processing Disorder for Professor Levy by Rebecca Valentino. Sensory processing is a term that refers to the way the nervous system receives messages from the body's 5 basic sensory systems. These sensory systems are responsible for detecting sights, sounds, smell, tastes, temperature, pain, and the positions and movements of the body. Sensory integration is the process in which we then turn the messages into appropriate motor and behavioral responses. Children with sensory processing disorder have difficulty processing information from the senses and responding appropriately to that information. SPD is likened to a neurological traffic jam that prevents certain parts of the brain from receiving the information needed to interpret sensory integration correctly. Sensory issues can include hypersensitivity, which is an over-responsiveness to sensory input. This may include extreme response to or fear of sudden high-pitched loud metallic noises. They may notice or be distracted by background noises. They may be fearful of surprise touch, avoiding hugs and cuddling. They may be fearful of crowds, avoid standing close in proximity. They might not enjoy a game of tag and/or are overly fearful of swings and playground equipment, extremely fearful of climbing or falling, and have poor balance and fall often. Hyposensitivity is an under-response to sensory input, and this may include a constant need to touch people or textures, doesn't understand personal space, has clumsy or uncoordinated movements, has an extremely high tolerance for or indifference to pain, often harm other children and/or pets when playing, may be very fidgety and unable to sit still, enjoy movement-based play like spinning and jumping, and seems to be a thrill seeker and might be dangerous at times. When a child has difficulties processing sensory information, for example, has a sensitivity to the texture of a certain food or clothing or sound, the child is becoming defensive. When they get that stimulus, it actually registers in the nervous system as something dangerous, and they automatically go into the fight or flight reaction. So it is important to note that a child is not exhibiting a bad behavior. They are doing it because it is a nervous system reaction. It's a survival mechanism to get away from that particular stimulus. How is sensory processing disorder diagnosed? An occupational or physical therapist will evaluate the child by observing his or her responses to sensory stimulation, posture, balance, coordination, and eye movements. How is sensory processing disorder treated? Sensory integration therapy, usually conducted by an occupational or physical therapist, focuses on activities that challenge the child with sensory input, also referred to as a sensory diet. This type of therapy involves a planned and scheduled activity program, with each diet being designed and developed to meet the needs of the child's nervous system. Therapy might include applying deep touch pressure to a child's skin with the goal of allowing him or her to become more used to and process being touched. Also, play such as tug of war or working with heavy objects like a medicine ball can increase a child's awareness of his or her own body in space, how it relates to other people. Swinging, jumping allow children to be actively involved and explore activities that provide sensory experiences. Children can then become more mature and efficient at organizing sensory information.
So I see the occupational therapy is definitely something that I was like, how the heck is this going to work? And it has. I mean, there's still issues. She'll still, I was saying before, she put everything in her mouth. I think I mentioned that. That's because there's a lot of, in terms of orally, children grow orally, so she's looking to get more input. She's going to put things in her mouth. She used to put paper, rocks, anything. Now she just does, she'll bite on her hair, she'll bite her nails. So she still has all these issues, but they're much more, they're less, I think, draining on the family system. She's doing better for sure. Her impulses, she will stop. I have to say stop, and she'll stop. Where I used to say it didn't matter. She'd have to go ahead and jump off the porch, So there's definitely, the occupational therapy has definitely been helping.
Thank you for watching this video.